So your cop ways came through again. Impressive. Let's see what you got. Thought I felt a special sign coming off this one. Alright, Lawfarer, we're ready to do this. I have to warn you though, once we commit, there's no stopping until we've seen it all the way through. No pauses, no second chances, this is our shot. You got it? Rest of the crew has got to stay here. Can't afford to let the beat drop right as we're getting off the ground.
Much love to my hardcore antenna brothers!
Good luck, guys.
Try to squeeze in a promo spot while you're on air. We've got to start putting the word out.
Back across the waterlock. At least we are getting our exercise in today.
You can grab that amplifier, officer. And you start spooling up those cables. Maybe we can get it all in one go. Just plug that in there, would ya?
It's done. I believe we are ready.
Yeah, as ready as we're gonna be. Grab one of these can sets, both of ya. I've got it rigged so that we can all listen, but only your cop talk will broadcast. No idea what we're gonna hear when I turn this thing on, so be prepared for anything. Trick is to keep transmitting your request until the big bad acknowledges ya. You got that? You ready? Good. We're live in 2, 1...
Your gloves give you a solid grip on the metal bar. This feels pleasingly familiar. You don't exactly cut a lithesome figure, but after several moments of scrambling, you manage to hoist yourself atop the monument. That performance was frankly an embarrassment.
You're doing all right, Detective. Just keep your focus on the task at hand.
The connection itself is nothing more than a little braid of exposed wire wrapped about the hoof of the horse. A copper fetter it cannot slip. The whole monument is covered in a thin but durable layer of oil and grime. It's obvious no one has cleaned it in years.
Well, what's it look like? That's not good. We should have cleaned the centaur man first. Pretty rude that we didn't. Hang on, I'm looking at Egg's checklist. He says, if all fails, bend antenna. Narrow is the hardcore way. That make any sense to ya? It says here, muscle style. Good question.
speed freak is right. The responsibility is yours and yours alone. There's no turning back now. You are face to face with Philip III. The Bronze King looks toward the west. Something about his features seems bizarrely distorted. His imperious gaze leads you naturally to his outstretched hand, which, for some reason, strikes you as sadly empty. You can't help but feel that saber you picked up might just give this older king a little more panache and better reception. Come on, kings and sabers are so played out. There's a better way. Why not arm the good king's valiant steed instead? There seems to be just enough room between its teeth there. To your surprise, the saber's hilt fits quite snugly in the statue's hand. The king cuts quite the triumphal figure now.
There is no way that is going to make any difference.
Every bit helps. We need this antenna to be as hardcore as humanly possible.
To your surprise, the saber slides snugly between the horse's beard teeth.
There is no way that is going to make any difference.
Every bit helps. We need this antenna to be as hardcore as humanly possible.
She yells a single word you can't make out, and then shuts the window with a violent thunk. Your grip is firm, yet controlled. The swelling in your headset guides your hands as much as your hands guide the bronze horse head. It's almost like you're hearing through the horse itself.
Looks like it's working. Keep going. Just a bit more.
Nein, Liebling.
The signal is clear. The storm has passed. This is another voice, a live voice on the other end of this invisible bridge you've established.
Try it now.
Detective Cousteau, this is Collision Warship Archer. We are acknowledging and accepting you. That's difficult to say. We have a very particular view from our observation platform. Oh, it looks quite lovely from here. Ah, there are...
Le Jardin, Stella Marie, Saint Baptiste. She's looking down on the sub.
Ah, that must be.
She needs to see you.
Martinez. That is to the west, yes? Stand by a moment. We are at... Yes. Interesting. The west of the city looks very different from the east. Very well. Now, we're looking at an area. Now we see the lake, and around that...
A distended pause. A slight chill of embarrassment.
Oh, well, we see the many, historic...
The old and irregular streets.
There are also a number of seabirds looping and twisting in the wind below us. We really couldn't say. That's one. And then there's all the tear line about. It's very unpleasant to look at. Yes. A roundabout. A roundabout. Aha! Yes, we see the monument. But there seems to be a man on top of it. That's you. We have to say, that's extremely irregular, detective. What are you doing on top of the top? How interesting. In Messina. In any event, it is certainly interesting to see you, even from afar. Most of the time, we signalers just have to imagine what our interlocutors look like.
The wind is pulling at the giant tarps that cover the blasted facade of the Capeside apartments. Air moving through what was once a row of apartments protected by walls and a roof. It sighs through the remains of bedrooms and parlors. This is your city. Defend it at all costs. This isn't about you. Not really. It may have been at a certain point, but you've let go of that perspective. This is about your responsibility to all of Revachon. Now, take a deep breath. Look upward. You don't have to bear the burden alone.
What? How do you know this? Detective Cousteau, this is a very serious claim. Please describe the situation as succinctly as possible. We will forward your summary to the committee.
There's papers rustling in the background. She's clearing her desk, preparing to take notes. There, you've wedged your foot in the door. Now, if you can show the Coalition how much they're needed, they'll have no choice but to intervene. You have the facts. Just lay them out beneath the cold light of reason.
Please continue. We're listening. We have it. Is there anything else the committee should know?
Detective, before you answer that, I urge you to weigh your words extremely carefully.
The lieutenant is afraid you're going to say something too outre.
We're afraid we must ask you to repeat that, Detective Cousteau.
Afraid? What is she afraid of? Her tone has shifted. She's no longer herself. She's reading from a script. Your words have activated some sort of procedure.
Acknowledged. Listen very carefully, Detective. We're going to ask you a series of questions. It is imperative that you answer as directly and truthfully as you can. Do you understand? Good. First question. Are you currently in the vicinity of Suragli, the North Arcade Islands, or near Pale Offshore Platform in Sulindico? Very good. Next question. Would you describe the phenomenon as internal to the Isola or external to the Isola?
What she means is, actually, you have no idea what those words could mean in this context.
Next question. At the time, did you experience sense objects? Yes. Examples may include sound, memory, light. Let's go on. Final question. Were you alone?
Yes, unquestionably, irrevocably alone. You are part of a large family. You are never alone. There's no need to overthink this.
We repeat. Were you alone?
You hear the sound of a page ripping.
Thank you, Detective. Please stand by while we transmit our summary.
A long winter.
Signals are starting to misalign. Not sure how much longer I can hold them together.
Detective Cousteau, this is Collision Warship Archer. Please acknowledge. Thank you for standing by. We are authorized to report the Committee of Responsibility for Ravachol has acknowledged and accepted your request. They would like you to address your matter to the committee directly, as their earliest convenience. Local matters can wait. Collision Shuttle Laurel is setting a course for your position. They will arrive momentarily. Stand by.
To the southwest, one of the smaller aerostatics that hover above the city breaks from its holding pattern. Coalition Shuttle Laurel begins executing a slow turn, drawn by an invisible wire.
No way! Big Bad's coming here!
The lieutenant adjusts his microphone and slowly looks up toward you.
Well, what now? You've accomplished your side task. You've contacted Coalition Warship Archer. I suppose what I'm asking is whether we are about to lose you to the moral intern. Afraid of what, detective?
A little rhyme jingling in your mind's attic. Of the future, of the past, of all that is not made to last. The lieutenant takes a moment to compose his thoughts.
Detective, each of us has our part to play in the world. My part is to solve crimes. I am under no illusion that my role isn't a minor one in the scheme of things. But I embrace it because it's my role, and it's yours too, detective, whether you accept it or not.
The lieutenant's final words are nearly swallowed by the roar of the aerostatic's main rotors.
Detective Cousteau, this is Collision Warship Archer. We have been instructed to inform you that the Laurel arrived at your position. Please acknowledge.
No shit. How are they supposed to hear your acknowledgement over the thundering of their own rotors?
Thank you. The Committee of Responsibility for Ravachol has authorized us to offer you an immediate extraction. Do you accept?
The roundabout, Martinez North, daytime. Across the plaza, a pair of seagulls fight over the remains of a chicken wing. The speed freak eyes you with a curious blend of awe and contempt. He's torn. There's nothing more soft-core than the Coalition, according to his worldview. And yet, having summoned an aerostatic with your voice is one of the most hardcore feats imaginable. The lieutenant looks up toward you. He starts to open his mouth, then appears to think better of it. He's spoken his piece, he thinks. It's up to you now. There is something, a whisper, circulating among the city's footnoted alleyways and along its electrical wires. But what it's saying, you can't tell. It seems to be a message meant for someone else.
Repeat that, Detective. What do you mean, you can't? Are you being impeded in some way? We have to say, this is extremely disappointing to hear, Detective. What the consequences will be for your refusal to accept responsibility, we cannot say. For your sake, we pray they are not more than we all can bear. And now, we are updating our frequencies. We will not speak again. This connection will be cleared in 4, 3, 2, 1.
And the line goes quiet. The lieutenant gives a long sigh as he removes his headphones. There's relief on his face as he turns toward you.
I think it's best for you to climb off the statue now, Detective. Your real work is done here.
The sun-warmed bronze tingles beneath your fingertips and between your thighs. Your legs have grown stiff. You've been up here quite a while. You look around. The strikebreakers are still shouting their slogans and waving their hand-painted signs. Beneath you, the lieutenant and the speed freak have begun disconnecting a few cables. There's really no point. You're beginning to feel like the little child who refuses to come down off the carousel.
About time. You grab that amp. Forget the cables. Need to leave some evidence of our antenna to inspire future generations.
What's one more trip across the waterlock?
Well, cop man, we've repaid the favour. Guess this cements the cop hardcore alliance.
Yeah! We are cops now! Easy, Ed. We're still hardcore music venue organisers, first and foremost, but maybe the stars make us pillars of the local community.
No need to fake it. You know you're still a cop at heart. I'll put this tech away later. Think there's an extra can set, in case you want to grab a souvenir or something. Don't think anyone will miss it.
The creepy woman! We were wondering about that when we worked there, but I had completely forgotten about it ever since. It must be anthroponetic crosstalk, the one you get in radios and long-distance calls. Now it makes sense, with the pail right on the doorstep.
Incredible. This would also explain why we get it on the police radio all the time.
It's quite common, actually. When the signal gets routed through pail, all kinds of irregularities take place. You may hear snippets of someone else's conversation, or the voice of your former lover, or an echo of an event that took place 100 years ago. Pale is a shroud of memories, and it doesn't really distinguish to whom those memories belong to. You could hear anything. Anytime.
Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you.
She's down there.
Okay. Why? So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
There has to be a way to use brute force. Climbing sounds unsafe. Brute force is safe. Look around and find something to break if the ladder fails.
Teleportation is not a thing.
Even if it isn't, no one told you.
That's not how physics work, detective. And even if it were, wouldn't you need some kind of apparatus? A teleportation field or...
What are they talking about?
Teleportation, Mikhail. It's generally thought impossible.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
He is restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is... Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle! It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are. Glad to have been of assistance.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket.
Ratan! Now is the time! Oh, you will see. First the spirits! The blue medicinal spirits! Grab the bottle and uncork it! It is time to unleash the other world! Hush, hush, Ratan! Now is not the time to celebrate. Now is the time to get ready! Trust me on this! This is what it's all been building towards! It's gonna be off the hook! Off all hooks!
The bottle opens with a silent, mysterious hiss. The fumes rising from its mouth are as crisp as the northern winds. Howling somewhere, lashing the boardwalk with brine and rain. An ancient warmth crawls under your skin.
Now, Bratan, take me off! Bratan! Have I ever lied to you? Just take me off!
Your fingers manage to undo the oily knot, and the necktie slides off. It looks so frail sitting there in your hand, weighing almost nothing.
Now, put me in the bottle! Trust me! Just trust me! You and I are gonna have so much fun it should be illegal! Just put me in the bottle, Bratan! I'm not gonna let you down! You and I are like the same person!
As the necktie slides into the purifying liquid, large stains of grease rise off from it and float to the surface. There, they quickly dissolve and disappear completely. Cleansed by the blue spirit fire of 98.7% pure alcohol, the fabric looks almost new again. No longer like a disgusting worm of the lower intestine, but like a colorful and deadly poisonous reef snake of the Insulindian Ocean. The necktie floats in the bluish liquid with almost unearthly grace. It's like an organic sample brought back from a distant star system inhabited by sentient neckwear. There is silence. The lieutenant has been observing you quietly all this time. He's struggling to keep silent, but finally seems to give up.
I've got to ask, what are you doing? Of course it has. And what has the necktie been telling you, if I may ask? Okay, so why did you put it in the bottle? Right, okay. Anyway, I'm glad you told me your necktie has been speaking to you. That must not have been easy.
We're all under stress. This is turning into a great big mess. I'm not judging. Just keep it together.
Let's go.
Oh? Who? Really? Are you sure you're not also looking for Nadia Harnancourt? Or Ignis Nielsen? Or the Great Lost City of Ace under the waves? A lot of stuff. Intense. You're like some kind of dark terrier with your endless searches. Maybe there's something else I can help you with then.